Tell me something. Have you ever looked at someone you once loved and felt your chest tighten? Like your soul still remembers the sound of their laugh, the warmth of their presence, the peace you once had but can never get back? You tell yourself you've moved on. You even convince others that you're fine. But deep down, when the night gets quiet and your phone stays silent, you can still feel them. You replay what went wrong. You wonder why they pulled away, why your love wasn't enough, why you were the one who cared more. And the pain of that imbalance burns. But what if I told you that the reason they left, the reason they stopped chasing, the reason you felt invisible, was because you were using the wrong energy? You see, attraction isn't built through chasing, pleading, or trying to prove your worth. It's built through stillness, through control, through 6 words that carry more power than any pickup line, more mystery than any love story, and more depth than any apology. 6 words that silently tell the world, I don't need you to choose me. In this video, we're going to explore the hidden, Stoic truth behind those words, and how they can transform not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. So before we begin, take a second to subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you've ever felt the pain of loving someone who didn't love you back. And stay till the end because what I'm about to tell you might just change your love life forever. Let's begin. Point 1, I don't need you. Tell me something honestly. When they left, and that one person who once felt like home, how long did you stare at your phone waiting for their name to appear again? How many nights did you scroll through your old chats, rereading every message, every emoji, trying to decode where it all went wrong? You told yourself you were fine, that it was their loss, that you'd move on. But deep down you still felt that quiet ache, that invisible thread that kept pulling your thoughts back to them. That's what emotional dependency feels like. The silent belief that without them, you are less. And I know that pain, because every person who's ever loved deeply has walked through that fire. You see, I don't need you doesn't mean I don't care. It doesn't mean you never loved them. It means you finally understand that your survival doesn't depend on their affection. When someone leaves, our mind panics. It starts saying things like, what if I never find someone like them again? What if I was the problem? What if I'll always be alone? But pause for a second. Before they came into your life, weren't you already breathing? Weren't you already laughing, living, dreaming, creating, existing? You just forgot. You forgot how to stand on your own 2 feet because you built your balance on their presence. When you whisper to yourself, I don't need you, it's not coldness and it's clarity. It's that moment when the fog starts to lift, when you start to remember that your worth didn't come from being wanted. It came from being real. Neediness, my friend, is invisible, but people feel it. It seeps through the way you text too quickly, the way you over-explain, the way you try too hard to fix what isn't meant to be fixed. And the more you chase, the faster they drift. But the moment you stop, the moment you let stillness take over, something shifts. They start wondering, because silence carries mystery, and mystery creates value. It's not a game, it's alignment. When you stop needing them, you start becoming yourself again. You become the man who is calm, centered, and unfazed. Not because he doesn't feel pain, but because he's learned to master it. Ask yourself this, do you really miss them? Or do you miss how you felt when they were around? Because that version of you, peaceful, confident, loved, didn't come from them. It came from you. They just reflected it back for a while. So reclaim it. Reclaim your peace. Reclaim your power. Say it now with calmness, not bitterness. I don't need you. And watch how slowly the pain loses its grip. Because you're not saying it to erase them. You're saying it to remember yourself. Point 2, to choose me. Now that you've said, I don't need you, there's another truth that follows, to choose me. These 4 words might be the most misunderstood part of love. We grow up believing that happiness comes when someone finally picks us, when someone finally says, you're the one I want. And so we start performing, we shapeshift. We try to be more attractive, more impressive, more lovable, all for that one moment when we'll be chosen. But here's the silent tragedy. When you live your life waiting to be chosen, you hand your peace to someone else. And maybe that's what happened to you. Maybe you gave everything. You were there for them when no one else was. You forgave the distance, the silence, the half-hearted effort. You loved with full hands, and they dropped you like you were nothing. And it broke you. because you thought being loyal, patient, and kind would make them stay. But here's the truth Stoicism whispers in moments like that. You can never force someone to value what they cannot see. Let that sink in. Their inability to choose you doesn't mean you're unworthy. It just means they're blind to depth. And it's not your job to make the blind see. Say it with me quietly. I don't need you to choose me. Those words might sting at first, but they heal you from the inside out. Because they tell your soul, I release you from needing validation. I choose myself now. Think about it. How many times did you lower your standards just to be loved? How many times did you pretend you were okay with being an option? When deep down, you were dying to be someone's priority? That ends now. When you stop needing others to choose you, you stop betraying yourself. You stop overgiving. You stop explaining why you deserve love, and instead, you start embodying it. Because when you choose yourself, your energy changes. You start moving differently. You start talking with calm confidence. And suddenly, people notice. They feel the shift. The same person who once ignored you might start wondering what changed. Because power is quiet, and detachment is magnetic. You don't attract by proving your worth. You attract by remembering it. Say it again with conviction this time. I don't need you to choose me. You are not waiting for someone to decide if you're enough. You already are. So if you're watching this right now with that ache in your chest, wondering why they didn't choose you, maybe it's because life was teaching you that you were supposed to choose yourself first. And once you do that, once you truly mean those words, the world starts treating you differently. Because your energy no longer says, please love me. It says, I already love me. And that energy? That's the one thing no one can resist. Point 3, because I am whole. Let me ask you something. When they walked away, did it feel like a part of you went with them? Like suddenly the world got quieter, the colors faded, and you weren't really you anymore? That's how heartbreak feels. It convinces you that you've lost your other half, that they completed you, and now that they're gone, you're incomplete. But here's a truth you might have forgotten. You were whole long before they ever came along. Before you met them, you laughed. You dreamed. You had purpose. You had peace. You were enough, just as you are right now. It's just that when love enters your life, it paints everything brighter. It makes ordinary things feel sacred, their text, their voice, their touch. And when that ends, it feels like someone turned off the sun. But my friend, listen closely. The light wasn't them. The light was always you. You projected your warmth onto them. You saw your best self reflected in their eyes. And when they left, it wasn't your other half disappearing. It was your mirror breaking. The Stoics would say, no one can take from you what you never truly gave away. You never lost your wholeness. You only lost the illusion that someone else held it. So when you say, I am whole, you're not denying the pain. You're simply reclaiming your center. You're reminding yourself that your worth doesn't depend on who stays or who leaves. Think about it. How many times did you try to become who they wanted you to be? How often did you silence your own needs just to keep them happy? That's not love. That's fear wearing love's mask. You are not half a heart waiting for completion. You are the entire universe learning to trust its own gravity again. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Don't scroll through their profile. Don't write that message you'll regret sending. Just sit with yourself. Breathe. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm? That's proof you're still here. Still strong. Still whole. You don't need to fill the emptiness with distractions or new people. You just need to remember that you are the source of your peace. Because the moment you believe that, truly, deeply believe it, you stop chasing love to feel alive. You start giving love because you are alive. And that's when everything changes. Say it softly to yourself right now. I am whole. You don't need them to complete you. You never did. Point 4. I respect your freedom. Now let's talk about something even deeper. Something that breaks most people because they never learn how to do it. Letting go. Tell me honestly, how many times did you hold on to someone who was already slipping away? How many times did you text them again even after they stopped replying? Just hoping for one more chance? We've all done it. Because when we love, we cling. We think holding on means fighting for them. But sometimes, holding on is what destroys the very love we're trying to save. When you truly love someone, you have to respect their freedom. Even if that freedom means walking away from you. The Stoics believe that what is yours will remain, and what isn't will naturally drift away. No amount of begging, explaining, or chasing can alter that truth. Say it to yourself. I respect your freedom. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to let them go without resentment. Because love without freedom isn't love. It's control dressed as devotion. Think about your ex. Maybe you sensed them pulling away long before they said it out loud. You noticed the shorter texts, the colder tone, the "I'm just tired" excuses, and you fought against it. Tried harder, loved louder, gave more. But the more you tried to pull them back, the more they slipped through your fingers. That's because real attraction needs oxygen, and control suffocates it. The one who loves with peace says, "I love you, but you are free. Free to go, free to grow, free to return, or not." And that's strength. Because it takes a strong man to stand still while someone he loves walks away. To not chase, to not beg, but to breathe and let destiny unfold. You can't lose what was meant for you, and you can't keep what was never yours to begin with. So instead of asking, "Why did they leave?" ask, "What are they teaching me?" Maybe their leaving was your awakening. Maybe their silence is your invitation to meet the version of you who no longer fears abandonment. And maybe, just maybe, respecting their freedom is how you finally respect your own. So the next time you feel that ache, the urge to text them one last time, stop. Close your eyes and say, "I respect your freedom." Because the moment you let go with peace instead of anger, you evolve. You stop being the desperate lover, and you become the calm observer. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop chasing, that's when people start remembering your worth. Because your silence becomes louder than your words ever could. So let go. Respect their freedom. Because when you do, you free yourself too. Point 5, because love is not control. Let me ask you something straight from the heart. When you were with them, did you ever feel like you were walking on eggshells? Like every word, every silence, every pause between texts could somehow change everything. That's what happens when love turns into control. When you start loving from fear, fear of losing them, fear of being replaced, fear of not being enough. Love stops being love. It becomes survival. And maybe that's what happened to you. You started with pure love, genuine care, patience, understanding. But slowly, without noticing, you began trying to manage every little thing. What you said, how you looked, how you behaved, just to keep them close. You told yourself you were doing it because you loved them. But deep down, you were doing it because you were scared. And that's okay. We all do that when we love deeply. But the truth is this: you can't control someone into staying. You can only invite them by your peace. Love isn't about holding someone tight out of fear. It's about holding space for them, even if they choose to walk away. The Stoic said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That includes love. You can't control their choices, their emotions, their return, but you can control your reaction. Ask yourself, what would love look like if it wasn't born from fear? Would you text less and trust more? Would you listen instead of trying to fix everything? Would you let them breathe instead of trying to read their every move? That's the difference between attachment and love. Attachment says, "I need you to make me feel safe." Love says, "You are free and I'll still be okay." Think about it. The moments when you tried to hold tighter were probably the moments they pulled away more, right? That's because control suffocates connection. You can't love someone and chain them at the same time. Because real love and mature, grounded, stoic love is freedom. It's peace meeting peace. When you stop trying to control how someone loves you, you discover something far greater. Peace in watching things unfold naturally. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying to hold them, that's when they feel safest with you. Because freedom is magnetic. So if you're healing from a breakup right now, if you're hurting because someone chose distance over closeness, don't chase. Don't beg. Don't fight the flow. Let it breathe. Let it fall apart if it must. Because love is not control. And if it's real, it will return stronger. And if it doesn't, it was never meant to stay. Whisper it quietly to yourself right now. Because love is not control. That sentence doesn't make you weaker. It makes you powerful. Because you're finally learning to love like a Stoic, deeply, calmly, and without losing yourself in the process. Point 6, and I am enough. Now we come to the final truth. The one that every broken heart must face before it can heal. Tell me honestly, when they left, did you blame yourself? Did you look in the mirror and think, if I were more attractive, more confident, more interesting, and maybe they'd still be here? It's okay to admit that. Because every person who's ever been heartbroken has whispered that same lie to themselves. But listen, it is a lie. Because your worth was never determined by how someone treated you. Your worth was never something they could give or take away. You are enough, right now as you are. The Stoics would say, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. You're not broken. You're just lost in the story of being not enough. You think you're missing something. You're not. You've just forgotten your value because you gave it to someone who didn't know how to hold it. Think back to the beginning. Remember how effortlessly you gave love? How pure your heart was before it got scarred? That was you. That's still you. They didn't break you, and they revealed how deeply you could feel. And that depth is not weakness. It's your power. But to feel that power again, you have to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for loving too much, for staying too long, for trying to fix someone who didn't want to be fixed. Because that wasn't stupidity, that was courage. You showed up for love in a world that glorifies detachment. You cared, and that's rare. But now it's time to turn that same care inward. To give yourself what you kept trying to get from others, or peace, understanding, validation. Say it softly like a promise, I am enough. Not because someone else says so. Not because you've proven yourself, but because you've survived what was meant to break you. The pain, the loneliness, the sleepless nights, they all came to remind you that your soul is stronger than your heartbreak. And someday, and maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday, you'll look back and realize that losing them was never your loss. It was your awakening. Because once you truly believe that you are enough, you stop trying to be someone's temporary peace. You become your own permanent calm. And that's when everything changes. People feel it. They sense your wholeness. Your silence becomes magnetic. And without even trying, you begin to attract not from need but from strength. So say it one last time with me, not as a quote but as your truth. I am enough. Because you've always been. And now you finally believe it. Conclusion. So, what are the 6 words? I don't need you to choose me. Say them again. Breathe them. Live them. Because those 6 words carry the energy of peace. They remind you that your value doesn't decrease when someone leaves. It simply shifts direction. When you embody them, you stop being the chaser. You become the calm in the storm, the one others can't forget. And that's the paradox of Stoic attraction. When you no longer seek to attract, you become magnetic. So if you're listening right now, broken, healing, remembering someone who used to mean everything, let me tell you this, your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Detach not from love, but from the illusion of control. Love deeply, let go freely, and stay rooted in peace. Because when you do, the world starts orbiting around your stillness. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.